Oh, and we do have a recording secretary here. Why don't we give it just one more minute just to give folks time to get in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, why don't we go ahead and get started? I see that we have our recording secretary here, Recording Secretary Lee. Awesome. Are we ready to go to Facebook?
Yes, we're live.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome everyone to the May 24th, 2023 meeting of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. My name is Honey Mahogany and I'm chair of the party. Welcome everyone. I know that this is a busy time. Hopefully folks are looking forward to Ward's convention. I'll do a little bit more about this meeting in just a second, but for now, why don't we go ahead and call the roll? Recording Secretary Lee, are you ready?
Yes, thank you, Chair Mahogany. Good evening, everyone. I'll go ahead with roll call. Member Oblos.
Here.
Member Baraka. I did see Baraka in the attendees list, and he might need to get upgraded to panelist. I'll move on to Member Barry.
Present.
Member Campos is excused. Member Chen.
Here.
Member Dufty. I have Member Williams as a proxy. I don't know if Member Williams is here. Member Galata.
Present.
Member Ibanez.
I'm here as a proxy for Annabelle Ibanez.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Member Kim. Member Lacroix.
Present.
Member Lee here. Member Loftus. Member Lovett. Member Lovett. Edward, I have you as Member Lovett's proxy. I feel like he cannot hear us, but I'll put here. Chair Mahogany.
Here.
Member Mandelman. Member Marr.
Here by proxy.
Member Maliga.
Here.
Member Raju.
Jackie here as proxy.
Thank you. Member Ronan.
Santiago Lerma here for proxy for Hillary.
Thank you. Member Thomas.
Here.
Member Tung.
Here.
Member Williams. Member Zoe. I have you, AJ, as the proxy for member.
Yes, sorry, I was talking into mute. Apologies. Yes, here by
you're all
proxy.
good. Members Feinstein and Pelosi are excused. Member Mullen. Member Kounalakis.
Present.
Thank you. Member Ma.
By proxy.
Member Cohen.
Hasib Emron here, present by proxy for Controller Cohen.
Thank you. Member Weiner. Member Haney. Member Ting.
Here by proxy.
Thank you. And then just to go back, Member Baraka.
Present.
Thank you. All right, Chair, we have 22 folks here, so we have quorum.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Recording Secretary Lee. We'll now move on to item number 2, approval of the meeting agenda. I would actually like to make an amendment to the agenda just because, you know, as I said earlier, we are going to be going to the state party. Many of us are leaving tomorrow or Friday. You know, we want it just to make it as brief as possible in terms of the length of the meeting. And also due to recent events, I would actually like to table my resolution on Banco Brown as of today or the last 12 hours. The Attorney General has announced that he is going to be investigating that case. And so I'm going to need to amend that resolution and we can bring it back next month. But, you know, thank you everyone who reached out about the resolution to discuss it with me and think about how it could be most useful. So we're going to table that. And then in addition, I would like to table the officer reports until the following meeting in June. Are folks amenable to those amendments? Would someone like to make a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Can I ask a clarification question? Point of clarification?
Who's this? Who's speaking?
Senator Wiener's proxy.
Sure.
Does pushing the committee reports include chartering new clubs?
No, it does not.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome. It's been motion has been made and seconded. At this point, I believe we can do this by acclamation.
I'm sorry, who motioned and seconded it?
The motion was made by Vice Chair Baraka, and the second was, I thought it was
Lacroix.
Lacroix. Yes, thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you all. The agenda as amended has been approved. We'll now move on to item number 3 in our agenda, which is approval of the meeting minutes. Does anyone have any amendments? Seeing none, do we have a motion to approve the meeting amendment or the meeting minutes from the April 26th meeting?
So moved.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baraka. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay. Any abstentions?
Avalos is abstaining.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Member Avalos. The motion passes and the meeting minutes from the last meeting are approved. We'll now move on to item number 4, which is club chartering. This is an item that was carried over from the last meeting. We heard public comment on this item and we wanted to make sure that we maintained quorum because this could potentially have been a long meeting. So we're going to hear this item here to make sure everyone is able to vote on it. Is there a motion on this item? Oh, actually, before we make the motion, AJ is actually in charge of club chartering, and I wanted to give Member Thomas an opportunity to speak on this item.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I wanted to first say apologies to fellow Democrats. I was unable to attend last month's meeting due to family matter, but I've heard some of the report backs on this, and in the interim, have worked with Executive Director Moises Garcia to research the topic. No doubt all of us have heard a lot of sort of the oral histories of club chartering throughout the years and things like that. But from my research and Executive Director Garcia's research, the process as outlined in our bylaws and procedures is pretty straightforward and ministerial. Clubs are generally chartered so long as they submit a certain number of criteria, including submitting their forms, their chartering fee, explaining their process and submitting their bylaws and governing documents, and a sufficient number of registered Democrats. The charter issuance is along that same process. There can be a revocation of the charter, but largely that process is surrounding disclosures and failures to disclose on financial reporting. So seeing that it's a largely ministerial process, even if we personally, if I don't agree with the politics of the club, there are a lot of clubs that I don't agree with, but the process for chartering is pretty straightforward under our rules. I'm happy to provide more written documentation to any member who wants of the research that I was able to do. So with that, I'd like to make a motion to recommend the chartering of the Westside Families Democrats Club.
Great. There's a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Avalos. I do see a comment from Member Berry.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I had a question. You mentioned public comment was held on this matter last month. And then when we amended the agenda, I wasn't aware that we were not going to have public comment. So just a point of clarification if that was part of the amendment.
There wasn't an amendment made. This item is being called before public comment because what happened last time is that people dropped off and we had a very, very small quorum for voting on this item. And in addition, we did hear public comment on this item at the last meeting. So given that we've already heard public comment on this item, and given that we again do want to make sure that we don't lose our members so that they can vote on this, that's why we agendized it before public comment. So with that, there is a motion and a second to approve the charter for the Westside Families Democratic Club. Can we take a roll call vote, please?
Chair Mahogany, there's
point of
other hands up for
clarification.
comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again. Member Tung.
Hi, yes. Chair Mahogany, I'd just like to say a couple of things. Thank you, Member Thomas, for the clarification with respect to the chartering of the clubs in San Francisco and by our party. I know that there are a number of people who have dialed into the meeting tonight to give public comment on this. And I think that it's important for us to say, at least personally, I would like to offer an apology to Mr. Gupta for what he was put through at the last meeting when he was grilled about the Westside Families Democratic Club and its purpose and whether or not it should actually be a Democratic club or not. If you take a look at our party's website and the chartered clubs that are part of San Francisco, the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club, the Bernal Heights Democratic Club, the Browning Mary Democratic Club, the Eastern Neighborhoods Democratic Club, the Edwin Lee Democratic Club, Harvey Milk, Home Shares Democratic Club, Noe Valley Democratic Club, Raoul Wallenberg Jewish Democratic Club, the San Francisco Young Democrats Club, United Democratic Club, the District 2 Democratic Club, the Rose Pack Democratic Club, the Southwest Asian North African Democratic Club, Pacific Islander Democratic Club, Potrero Hill Democratic Club, South Beach District 6 Democratic Club, Richmond District Democratic Club, District 3 Democratic Club, District 11. I don't want to leave out any Democratic clubs, but we have an offering of clubs that span all shades of blue in San Francisco. And the fact that 2 months prior to the April meeting, we chartered the Raoul Wallenberg Jewish Democratic Club and the Dolores Huerta Democratic Club without conversation, without any debate, without any questions to the people who were bringing forward those clubs. And to contrast that with the way that Mr. Gupta was treated at our meeting, I think that he deserves an apology. He has my personal apology. I was not there at the meeting. I sent a proxy because I was unable to attend. But I think that we all need to look inward a little bit about what we are espousing in terms of our values as Democrats, and to open up the tent to make sure that everyone who is a Democrat, particularly somebody with Mr. Gupta's Democratic credentials, feels welcome in this space, no matter what the political ideology is.
Thank you, Member Tung. I completely understand your frustration. And, I also was frustrated as my comments reflected at the last meeting. I also agree that we do have a duty as the San Francisco Democratic Party to approve those clubs that meet our chartering requirements. I said as much last week. I also was on the phone with both Sin Wang and Mr. Gupta in text threads and emails, communicating, how disheartened I was that this had happened. And also Member Thomas and I have also been in contact with them and, working to make sure that that does not happen again this time. So really appreciate your comments. And again, I also really appreciate the fact that we are able to disagree within the Democratic Party, that there is space for us to hold differing viewpoints. And, while we may not agree on any number of topics, that we all are still Democrats and deserve to be able to organize within the party. So thank you for your comments. And I will go on to Vice Chair Baraka next.
I thought someone else had their hand up before I did, Chair.
They removed it. Oh, wait, no, actually, I'm sorry. Your name was up first, but I saw that Nima, I remember your name was showing before, but it's not. Are
I mean, I'd be
you
willing, I mean, I'm just trying to
be
make
fair?
sure. Yes.
Nima, I'm not sure why your name disappeared from my list, but I can see your picture with your hand raised. So did you want to go next?
I'm happy to. I don't care who goes first. I just wanted to make a comment on behalf of Senator Wiener, echoing Member Tung's sentiments here. We're a Democratic Party. We're a big tent. The DCCC's chartering process is designed to maintain that tent and to use the power of the committee to deny Democrats a seat at the table is not a democratic process and is not what Democrats stand up for. And it's not a good look for us as a party that's going to be going into a very competitive election year on a national stage to have these kinds of moments at the local level because we are a party of inclusivity. And what we did at the last session was not an inclusive process. And so Senator Wiener wanted to make his position very clear. He's going to be supporting the chartering of this club. And he firmly believes that as a committee, we owe our party and our community a duty to be inclusive.
Thank you, Nima. With that, we'll go to Vice Chair Baraka.
I would just like to say that I'm a little disappointed that we're voting on this item before public comment. We all agreed to be here for the meeting, and that includes listening to public comment. So if you don't want to listen to public comment and leave, that's your choice. But I think public comment is very important for me to hear before we all cast votes. I think the comments of the public are very important and they should inform our votes. But I just, through the chair, wanted to kind of respond to some of the accusations made by Member Tung. And with all due respect, what are we espousing? What we're espousing are democratic values. And I feel that in my 2 terms on this body, plus many years as a proxy for Senator Leno, I've never, and I've heard all of those clubs that Member Tung mentioned, plus, as I said, many others, never once in my 2 terms plus have I ever heard any serious or allegations of a serious nature, such as the ones that were leveled against this Democratic club ever in my history. And if we're going to uphold, or if we are espousing to be true Democrats, then if someone makes an accusation, then I think it's incumbent upon us to then respond to those allegations and not just let them stand alone and without a response. I think that merits a response. And I just want to underscore, in my 2 terms, plus the years I've worked as proxy, not once has a club been accused so explicitly and accused of things that the Democratic Party is 100% against. So I don't think that I was, or any of the members here, were rude to Mr. Gupta, but I think we have every right to ask Mr. Gupta about things that are antithetical to democratic big D values. And what I mean by that explicitly is that I had a one-on-one conversation with one of the members, one of the founding members, and we talked for almost probably 45 minutes. And this person explained to me that, yes, they were against the recall. well, you know, that recall against a person that wanted to exact criminal justice reform in the city of San Francisco, all those policies were in line with 21st century policing reforms. Violent crime was down, but we chose to use Republican talking points to remove a criminal justice reformer from the city of San Francisco. And that was admitted to me by one of the forming members. And even though you all seem to come up with a lot of reasons to support the recall of our DA, but to support, or I should say to reject the recall of our white, very privileged governor, to me was very hypocritical. And I need to call that out. And someone needs to talk about that. So yeah, you're darn straight I'm going to ask you some questions if your club is accused of racism. And there's nothing wrong with that. We're supposed to ask questions. Since when do we not ask questions? So I'm just going to leave it at that and say that I would prefer that we make the vote after public comment. And I know I'm going to hear a lot of votes in support or voices in support of this club, but I want to hear those voices talk to me about how criminal justice reform is not a democratic value, because generations of people that look just like me are still in jail due to racist policies that have been rubber stamped by this country of ours. Newsflash, this is the San Francisco Democratic Party. So that's where I am with this, and that's where I will leave it. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Baraka. I mean, at this point, you know, the time to make the amendments to the agenda was when we were approving those amendments earlier. So, you know, I wish you had brought up those concerns at that time, and then we could have amended the agenda, but at this point it's been approved. So we'll go on to our next hand. I see a member.
Motion to rescind the vote.
There's a motion to rescind the vote. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's been a motion to rescind the vote in a second on this item for the agenda, but so we will have to take that before we take the rest of these comments. All those in favor, actually,
point of order. Yeah. Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
I think we should have discussion on the new motion before we take a vote on it.
Okay.
Maybe clear the hands and reset, or however order you feel appropriate, but we should discuss this new motion.
Okay, let's do that. Are there any others who'd like to comment on the motion to rescind the vote on approving the agenda?
It's not approving the, excuse me, I wanted to rescind the vote because we moved headlong to start a vote on the agenda, and it's clear that we still need to discuss it. And if we have a motion that's been seconded and approved, we should be voting rather than discussing. So that's why I rescinded the vote, so that we can have a discussion.
Oh, I see, on this agenda item, not on the agenda.
Yeah.
I see. I see.
Point of order.
Go ahead. Let's
chiming in here as parliamentarian. Member Avalos, I don't necessarily think that you would need to rescind a vote. Maybe you would rescind your motion, but that's fine as well. I think we're still in a discussion phase. Or if you can rephrase just like what your intent is, so I can best advise.
Thank you. I rescind the motion so that we can have discussion that we're having already. I don't think we can have discussion if we've already scheduled to have a vote. That's why I rescinded the motion. Thank you.
So this is a motion.
In order to open discussion on an item, there should be a motion and a second. And that's what I believe was made. Member Avalos, you made a motion. I'm blanking on who seconded the motion. My apologies. But that's what can unlock the conversation around this agenda item. And that's where we are right now.
Yeah, that's why I was confused.
Can I just read back
apologize.
the minutes here? We never took a motion to open discussion. Instead, after Member Thomas's opening remarks, he made a motion to approve the chartering of the Westside Family Democratic Club, and that motion was originally seconded by Member Avalos. If I understand you correctly, Member Avalos, the only thing you can rescind at this moment is your second on that motion.
That's right. I'm rescinding my second, and I'm doing that because if my motion was approved, we would close discussion. But we're having discussion, so let's have discussion. That's why I rescinded my motion, so we can have discussion.
Okay. Thank you for that clarification, everyone. So we now have a motion on the floor. It has not been seconded, and we are continuing to have discussion on this item. So with that, should we go to Member Loftus?
Oh, thank you so much. Thanks, Chair Mahogany, to all my colleagues. I just wanted to say that on this particular case, I was excited to support this club. I wasn't able to be here, so my proxy, Madison, did a great job, and I think oftentimes we should have a lot of compassion for proxies when things change, but wasn't sure what to do. But there's no question that I've got tremendous respect for Sin Wang and a lot of the leaders here. And the comment I wanted to make was just, I keep watching with a lot of fear, to be totally honest, what's happening in Florida, what's happening in Nebraska. The Republicans, and we use that word a lot here, obviously, are doing things like passing bills that prevent trans kids from getting life-saving medical care. Like the fight that we as Democrats are in right now in this moment is really, really important. And I think I totally agree that we have to have space to have a huge, big tent and disagree. Like San Francisco is a special place for that reason, and we want to keep that. And I also think this body in particular has to be very sober and clear that our values are at stake, and kids and the most vulnerable among us are being targeted for political purposes. I would hope that we can continue to rise to meet the moment and certainly ask tough questions, but make sure that we ourselves are not getting so bogged down in whatever local dispute that we have that we lose sight of what an important role we play in fighting for our values in 2024 and beyond. So I welcome additional Democrats. So thank you to this club for joining us and helping us, fight for the values that this party and our city holds dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Loftus. We'll go to Member Thomas. Oh, I'm sorry,
Thank you,
Member
Chair.
Avalos. Member Avalos, I'm sorry.
My apologies, I should lower my hand. Thank you.
Okay, Member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I had two comments. One, that it's my understanding that when there's a motion and a second from our parliamentarian statement, that is the time for discussion. Is when there's a motion second, that means it's an item worth discussing. So I think we're okay to discuss, even if there's been a second on it. That may be the good time to discuss a motion. But to the merits of it, as I said earlier as part of the research, that it's a pretty ministerial process for approving clubs in San Francisco. And I kind of went to talk to some of the folks that have been around a lot longer than me to learn some of the history behind why it's that way. And I think it's helpful in this place because the chartering of clubs and the refusal to charter clubs has been abused throughout the state to keep clubs that are not popular in that region from chartering. In fact, the state party had to create a process so that LGBTQ clubs could charter in far more conservative areas of the state. And San Francisco was a leader in creating a pretty, frankly, easy way to get chartered so as to not stifle unpopular voices and things that maybe are outside the mainstream. The refusal to charter or harassing of the charter process was used even against the Harvey Milk Club in the past. So this is by design, that it's a pretty ministerial process to get your club chartered here, because we believe that the Democratic Party is a big tent. And if you're saying something that is bad, or the people will hear it and they will know. You know, and I say this person is probably the last speaker at the last Chaser rally prior to the recall, against the recall. I don't necessarily agree with every club that gets chartered before us. I'm not a member of every club that's here, but I do support having a rather ministerial process for this, because we don't want the current political views of the DCCC at the time deciding which clubs get chartered and which don't. We want it to be according to a written prescribed process. And so with that, I very strongly think that this club has met the requirements listed in our bylaws and procedures and should be chartered. I also believe that we satisfied the public comment requirements when this was brought up at our last meeting. I also think that the public comment, this was agendized prior to public comment in the 10-day and the 72-hour agenda. So I think we definitely have discussed this item quite a bit. We've had public comment quite a bit, and we've known that it was going to be discussed and voted on prior to public comment for quite a bit. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Proxy for Ibanez.
Hi, I have a statement written by Annabelle Ibanez, member Ibanez. The Republicans have their Moms for Liberty, and now San Francisco will have its West Side Family Democratic Club. There are high possibilities that this club and others will weaponize families within political campaigns within our cities. This is completely wrong, and for this reason, I will not be supporting this resolution.
Thank you, Mari. I appreciate your representing Member Ibanez today. And then our last comment, and then we will go towards the vote, will be from Member Berry.
Chair, I just wanted to state that this is a agenda item to reconsider chartering this club. It is a new club, and I think public comment might still have some additional information, which I stated earlier. But also I wanted to add that when we recharter, when clubs are up for recharter, I sometimes do have questions, but sometimes I feel it might just be a personal issue. So I refrain, because I think the consensus of a lot of the clubs generally stand with our democratic values. But I heard so many things about this particular club, and I wanted to have questions to them. And when I was happy to see my colleagues ask questions that I had, and I also had my own question that I asked. And I feel like I thought tonight maybe they would come back with answers to our questions, and we would get a better understanding of who they are and what they represent. So far, I don't know what's going on with this club, and I definitely will not be voting to charter it.
Okay. Well, thank you, Member Berry, for your statement. I am going to move to vote on this in a second, but I just wanted to address that. So after the last meeting, I did speak with the leaders of the club, and I also spoke with the executive committee, and we also said at the last meeting that we would be setting up meetings for those who are interested in learning more. For those who asked to be connected directly to the club, I made text intros. We also offered to set up an additional meeting so that DCCC members could chat with the club. Most folks, or I should say all folks, chose to reach out to them individually. And so those discussions were had over the last month. In addition, I personally believe it is our responsibility as elected members when we receive the agenda to not just review it, but if we have questions to proactively reach out, because we know that they're going to be discussed. And so, and when it comes to our Democratic clubs, that's no different. We did have the opportunity to ask them questions. They answered to the best of their abilities. And for those who had more questions, we, after the item was tabled, provided an opportunity for people to follow up in between then and now. So at this point, I feel we've had 2 months to ask our questions, to find out more information. and the club deserves a chance to be chartered. You know, they've waited 2 months to do this. So I think it's really important that we, you know, stick to our bylaws and that we are able to vote on this item. That being said, I do see that there is a hand raised from the club. Would members like to hear from the club directly?
Sure, yes. I just wanted to also acknowledge that Member Williams has her hand raised as well.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead and bring Mr. Gupta into the panel, and then we'll go to Member Williams.
Hi, everyone. Can you all hear me? Great. Chair Mahogany, do I have the opportunity to speak now, or?
Yeah, if you, I think we can give you the opportunity to speak towards the club. I mean, generally when we have a club chartered, we do bring on the president of the club or the leaders of that club to talk about their club. I know you did that last time, but you know, again, usually we approve clubs on that first round. So we'll go ahead and let you speak to your chartering this time as well.
Great. Well, we appreciate the opportunity to come back and present the Westside Family Democratic Club. Frankly, you know, I appreciate the comments. Frankly, we were appalled by what happened last time. The party that we all support, you know, certainly stands for an inclusive big tent. And that's not what we saw on display. That's still not what we're seeing on display. We may have disagreements. We're all working towards the same goal. We recognize there are a lot of big goals that we all have because we love this city and we seek to make it better. We seek to bring out the best in this city. That's why we're all here. This shouldn't be hard. We want to include more voices of families in the democratic process and in the Democratic Party in San Francisco. We know families are, you know, there are one of the least amount of families in any city in San Francisco. So I think that this is something that we would want to be inclusive for and try to keep families in and engage them as Democrats in this process. You know, we've been moved by the amount of outpouring from San Francisco Democrats, those who, you know, even if they don't agree with us, support the idea of a big tent and recognize that as something that the Democratic Party certainly stands for. I'm sorry to hear that people feel that families voting as Democrats is weaponizing, or that, you know, those who would question why this would be a good thing for Democrats to include more families, that frankly is a shock to me. But you know, if anything, this has mobilized and engaged families to really be a part of this process. And I think this is where families are kind of standing up and saying, hey, we deserve to be counted in this. However, again, as I said last time, however you consider yourself a family, we include you as a family. We are all inclusive, right? That is the entire idea. We stand for safe streets, outstanding public schools for everyone, abundant housing, thriving small businesses. So, you know, again, we hope we have this opportunity to get chartered, and you know, we're here to answer any questions. And by the way, we did reach out to everybody. We reached out for 2 months to everyone. We spoke to whoever texted us, emailed us back. We again appreciate the support. To my knowledge, you know, I'm not sure about Member Baraka's comment about one of us commenting on the recall. Again, our club was not around at that time. So, you know, again, we can't comment on that. But, you know, again, we're here to answer any questions you have. We are a brand new club. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gupta. You know, we're not going to take questions at this time, but we really appreciate your statement. So thank you. Member Williams.
Yes, thank you, Chair Mahogany. And I just wanted to chime in on this because I am concerned about refusal of chartering clubs. You know, I've been involved in San Francisco organizing in politics since I was a teenager for about 22 years, and I've seen this body over a number of iterations of members and different clubs coming to this body to get chartered. And I've always remembered and respected having, you know, a variety, a diversity of groups coming and being able to get chartered, no matter if my politics, my individual politics are very progressive, and where I stand on a number of issues, maybe some folks that got chartered, I would disagree with them. But I do think it's our duty to allow for that discourse and to allow for folks that we do not see eye to eye with to be able to have the opportunity to have a voice. When we start to exclude folks having that voice, that's when we become like those that we consider the enemy. And I think it is a slippery slope. And we do have a big enemy, and that is the Republican Party. And when we start to fight amongst each other like that, then we start to mirror the folks that we're trying to fight against. And so I really want to speak to all of y'all about this slippery slope that I'm seeing in our SF politics, because it makes me really sad, because there's a lot of things that we all agree on, and there's some things that we will have disagreements on. But one thing for sure, we should not resort to this exclusionary sort of tactics that I'm seeing because there's differences in our politics. So I definitely want to see a Democratic Party that keeps that big tent, because I think it's healthy for us. And I think it's about keeping that discourse alive and not excluding that discourse, because we become better with that discourse and not just pushing it to the side. So that's all I want to say.
Thank you, Member Williams. Member Braca, I'm assuming you wanted to respond.
All I wanted to say is, I don't think that if I came across as saying that I'm trying to hold their vote or the approval of this club up for hostage due to accusations level, then that's not my intent. And I don't think we really said that we would, as a body, be doing anything. All we did was continue this issue because there were some rather strong allegations made. And I agree with Mr. Gupta that we should have a big tent, and the Democratic Party is all about that. But I think that, and more inclusive. But if you drill down to the details of the West Side Democratic Club, I mean, you think of the West Side, you think of the West Side as a monolith. You know, Assembly District 19 kind of goes into San Mateo a little bit, but the point being is that there are certain districts on the West Side that have been excluded from being members. Now, we can be members. I'm a resident of D11, and I'm sure I have people in D5 that would love to be a part of this club, but our votes won't matter because it's only for districts, I think 1, 4, 7, and I can't think of the other one right now. Or they're excluding districts 5 and 11, where a lot of minority families and folks such as myself live, that if I wanted to be a part of this club, I could be a part of, but I couldn't be a voting member. And to me, that is talking out of both sides of your mouth if you're talking about being a big tent. So that's all.
Thank you, Member Baraka. I'm gonna call this to question at this point. You know, we've had a first and a second, and we've had extensive public comment, or sorry, not public comment from the members at this time. Can we call this to question? Can we have a roll call vote?
Of course. So given was called to question, we're going to do a roll call vote. I will call your name, and you can either say yes, no, or abstain. If you pass, I will just simply come back to you after all the names are exhausted. So I'll go starting with the top of the roll. Member Avalos.
Yes.
Member Baraka.
Abstain.
Member Barry.
No.
Member Chen.
Yes.
Member Dufty. Member Williams, your proxy.
Yes.
Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Ibanez.
No.
Member Lacroix. Member Lacroix.
Pardon me. Yes.
Member Lee, yes. Member Loftus.
Yes.
Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Chair Mahogany,
Yes.
Member Mandelman. I see you nodding your head, so I'll take that as a yes. Member Mar.
That was a yes.
Member Mar is also a yes. Thank you to both of you. Member Malika,
Yes.
Member Raju,
Yes.
Member Ronan,
Abstain.
Member Thomas,
Yes.
Member Tung,
Yes.
Member Williams,
Yes.
Member Zoe. Member Thomas, your proxy for.
Yes. I'm sorry. I went into mute again.
You're all good.
Yes.
Member Kounalakis,
Abstain.
Member Ma,
Yes.
Member Cohen,
Yes.
Member Weiner.
Yeah.
Thank you. I don't know if Member Haney is here proxy. If not, then Member Ting.
Yes.
All right, all the votes are recorded. We have 21 yes, 2 no, and 3 abstentions. So congratulations, Westside Family Democratic Club. You are now a chartered Democratic Club.
All right. Thank you so much, Recording Secretary Lee, and thank you to Westside Families Democratic Club, and also thank you to the members for the robust conversation. I know that these things can get contentious, and I just really appreciate all the varying viewpoints that are brought to the table. We'll now move on to public comment. This is a time for the public to comment on any of the items on the agenda. And yes, you are still welcome to comment on the Westside Families Democratic Club chartering. For this portion, we will pass it on to our Executive Director, Moises Garcia.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. One moment, let me get my notes. Great. If you would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function, which can be found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you are listening to this meeting via your phone, please dial *9 to enter the queue. If you encounter any difficulties, please send an email to info@sfdemocrats.org. Each member will have 1 minute to address the SFDCCC. Associate SFDCCC members have floor privileges and may exceed the 1 minute time limit. I'll promote folks in the order that I see hands raised, and thank you in advance for your patience. I'm going to promote Susan Pfeiffer, followed by Babak Stafandari, Derek Rameski, and then Helmut Schmidt.
There we go. I'm with you. Good evening, fellow Democrats. Nice to see everyone. Couple of things. A reminder that, or many of you may not know, that with the end of the pandemic, I've forgotten the term now, but during the pandemic, that there was a period where the government was providing health care for a lot of people that due to COVID, and they were making Medi-Cal eligible for a large number of people. And now that the public health emergency, that's what I was thinking of, has ended, they are dialing that back. And Medi-Cal is in the process, starting in June, of doing what they call a redetermination of all of the people on Medi-Cal. It may take a while, but they are going to be redetermining financial eligibility for Medi-Cal. And in many cases, people have gotten new jobs or raises, or their income does not warrant Medi-Cal, but it makes them eligible for a Cover California health plan, including a subsidy in many cases. They're going to be receiving letters from the county if they're on Medi-Cal, and the redetermination determines that they are eligible for a Cover California plan. If they do not respond, Cover California will go ahead and choose the lowest price silver plan that they are eligible for and automatically enroll them. So we need to get the word out to people that if they start receiving letters in June, either from the county for Medi-Cal or from Cover California, don't ignore them. respond to them. Again, I'm a certified enrollment counselor. If you don't like what you're being offered, but it's within the time, I think it's a 30-day time limit, I'm happy to help people enroll. They can call Cover California directly, but we want people to know that they need to respond if they get those letters. Secondly, I'm on the organizing committee for the state party, and you all know the convention is this weekend. And we do have 2 organizing activities at the convention. Many of you may have signed up in advance for them. The one to bundle essential items for women that is going to a homeless shelter in Los Angeles, that activity is full, so no one else can sign up for it. There is still room to do the texting program. This will be happening on Saturday between the floor sessions. So it'll be from noon to 2 p.m. And there won't be a lot else going on during that period, except maybe some of the standing committees. So what we're going to be doing is texting young voters a petition to hold Republicans accountable for things including gun safety. We know this is a pivotal issue to engage young people and to get them interested, and we will continue texting them throughout the year and deepen the relationship, make those that are on board with us, make sure they're registered to vote, and then encourage them to vote. So this is a really important first step. All you'll need to do is download the California Democratic Party app on your phone, and it will be preloaded. And all you'll have to do for 2 hours is just hit send, send, send. So it will be a social event as well. And you can take it back to the floor for the floor session if you're not finished. So I just want to encourage people to begin doing organizing activities, because this is light, but next year when we have the November convention this year and next year when we're in election mode, we are going to need everyone on board rowing forward to win this election. So we're just getting started. And lastly, on this situation with the club chartering, I've sat through observing a lot of different club chartering, and it goes in waves. I know some of the most active clubs right now were almost not rechartered at a certain point when someone had a complaint, and then that got worked out. What I didn't get a chance to ask, because I'm not on the committee, and that no one asked last week, they didn't ask the club, what are your goals? What do you stand for as far as what campaigns, what elections, what activities do you want to work on? Because I didn't hear that. So I don't know what they stand for. I'm not for or against, but I didn't hear those questions asked. And I'm on the west side and might be eligible to join. So I just wanted to bring that up, that I think there was a lot of anger expressed, and there's a lot behind the scenes I'm not privy to, so I didn't know that. But I think we should have asked more about what their goals are and what they plan to do in the club rather than who's behind it. I just wanted to say that. I'm done.
Thank you for your comments, Susan. Next up is Bobak, followed by Derek.
Thank you so much, everyone. And Chairman, I would like to invoke presidential privilege as the president of a chartered club, the United Democratic Club, to speak a public comment tonight. If that's okay. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hi, everyone. I know most of you, but for those that don't know me, my name is Babak Esfandiari. I live out in the Ocean Beach area of San Francisco in the outer Richmond district. I've been a resident of this fine city for nearly a decade. And I've also been a resident of the San Francisco Bay Area my whole life in multiple cities and towns, East Bay, South Bay, etc. And I'm a lifelong Democrat. I've been a Democrat since I could register to vote. I became a Democrat because in high school, I was bullied in the post 9/11 era. I was really othered pretty dramatically. There was name calling, there was bullying, there was everything under the sun. And then when the Iraq War happened, when the Bush administration dragged us into a irresponsible and illegal war, I ended up demonstrating with my fellow middle and high school students throughout the years because that issue was what brought me to be a Democrat. It was the notion that we should not be gallivanting around and trying to impose democracy on other nations and all this stuff around what it meant to be ruining other parts of the world before we had our own house in order, and so on and so forth. I then went on to work for President Obama's re-election campaign. But in between all of that, I did labor organizing in college. I did all these other things that, you know, shouldn't matter. My biography shouldn't technically matter, but everyone loves to tout their biography when they come and talk about why they're worthy of something. And I bring all this up to say that my past experiences in the early aughts and in the Obama campaign was what led me to believe a basic truism about this party, and that is that I believe that part of what it means to be a Democrat and be part of the Democratic Party is that if you work hard and play by the same set of rules as everyone else, you can make it in this country if you try. And that's, you know, counter to what the Republicans push, which is that we're going to rig the game for the rich and the wealthy. I frankly, you know, could not believe what I heard when I heard it about how this meeting went last month, I should say. And I was astonished to hear about how the folks who were applying to be chartered were treated. And I have a warning for everyone here who continues to entertain these conspiracy-oriented mindsets about some of the extremes of this party, that the voters are not going to reward you for dismissing their everyday legitimate concerns with hand-wavy bullshit and nonsense about how everything I don't like and everyone I disagree with is a Republican. It's not true. It's why there has been some shifts recently in the most recent set of election cycles. And I've sat through this nonsense when it comes to the city's debates on housing, on the city's debates about how to deal with our transit woes, about the city's debates with respect to the leadership of the Board of Education and the District Attorney's Office. We may have disagreed on those recalls, but it does not mean that everybody who disagreed with you was a Republican. It's just not true. I've had it with all of that nonsense. I've had it with sitting through public hearings in city government where I get called a Nazi because other people disagree with my point of view on certain things. I've had it with being told that I have blood on my hands because I believe differently with respect to whether or not a certain neighborhood should have been districted into my neighborhood or not, into the redistricting process, because that was also another very contentious, negative, partisan thing that really displayed the worst of what this party has to offer locally and regionally. We have serious problems in this city. I'm sure you all know it. We have serious debates about those problems, and sometimes we actually focus on the issues. But this body, when it entertains baseless conspiracy theories peddled by people who have no interest in actually having an honest debate about the issues, but would rather just slander their opponents, this body debases those debates. And those differences of opinions, when it entertains unsubstantiated and baseless claims from cranks and trolls who have this conspiracy theory mindsets, it really just ruins the discourse for everyone, and it turns people off from wanting to participate in the party and in the city's politics in general. I know I've been recruiting people endlessly to get involved, both in my club and in the party in general, and a lot of people turn their nose away from it. They are no PP for a reason, or decline to state for a reason. And getting them to set that aside because they're actually liberal, but they have frustrations with the party, is hard. And I've had a lot of one-on-ones with people, and I've worked hard to grow my club, and I've worked hard to grow this party. And I'm grateful that this body took the vote tonight to charter the West Side Family Democratic Club. I'm going to be a member of that club, but I'm not going to be too involved because I'm leading my own club. But the delaying question should have never happened in the first place. And I hope that everyone here takes time to reflect on that and takes time to reflect on what it means for the larger body politic of this city. Thank you. You have a good night.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Derek Remsky, followed by Helmut Schmidt.
Thank you. I'll just echo everything that President SFDCCC said. And just to give a little perspective, over the last 10 years, I've chartered and rechartered 4 clubs before this body. One of those recharters was a 5-hour meeting in front of this body in which they tried to stop our recharter based on litmus tests as well. I want to also thank you for chartering the West Side Democratic Club today, but also express disappointment in this body for their actions last month. I also want to thank AJ Thomas, Member Thomas, for pointing out that the DCCC's bylaws are very explicit. It is a ministerial action, and litmus tests are things that Republicans do. We're Democrats. We don't do that. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you all have a great evening.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Helmut Schmidt.
Yes, good evening. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to speak. My name is Helmut. I'm born and raised in San Francisco, originally in the Richmond, but now I live out in the Sunset. I am a member of the West Side Dems, and I just wanted to thank you very much for the charter vote tonight. Very much appreciate it. Look forward to helping the San Francisco Democratic Party move forward, achieve its goals, recruit more Democrats, get more people out to vote. There was a question earlier, what do we stand for? I'll speak for myself now, but housing, gun control, education, transit, and continuing to show the world that San Francisco is a beacon of hope for people everywhere. So I appreciate you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Cheryl Thornton, followed by Prag Gupta, David Sterlace, and Charles Bain. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Good evening. My name is Cheryl Thornton, and I'm a resident of District 10. And I was listening to the discussion last month and tonight about the chartering of the club, and welcome. I'm glad that the Western Democratic Club was chartered. But I would like to say, as a Black woman who lives in San Francisco and have seen the inequities in the education system that have really adversely impacted Black and Brown students, I hope, because there's been a lot of energy around Lowell High School, and education in San Francisco is not equal and it's not fair. And if we are to go on as a nation together, as a people together, we have to lift up everybody so that everybody will be stronger. And so my son, he is in law school, his third year, and I raised him here in San Francisco. So I know it can be done even when you are a person who is disenfranchised and socially. Thank you.
Next up is, I think, Sum Yi Lee, who changed names from Prag Gupta.
Hi, I'm Sum Yi Lee. I live with Prague, my husband, and my 9-year-old daughter in District 4. I'm calling in today to express my strong support for the club. Thank you so much for approving it tonight. It's really important to me that San Francisco continues to be a place where our daughter can grow up in and thrive in and be safe in. My daughter goes to a public school. She's in the 4th grade. So I care a lot about great public schools for everyone and very safe and walkable streets. I've lived in the US for 20 years, and I became a citizen only since 2016. I've been a registered Democrat in San Francisco since that time. I think it's really important that families and immigrants like myself have a voice in the Democratic Party. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is David Sterlace, followed by Charles Bain, Supriya, and Supriya Ray.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you to this group for chartering the West Side Club. And I think it was Member Williams that that said we need this discourse. And I just want to thank her directly. I thought that statement was fantastic. You know, I live in the West Side, District 11. I want outstanding public schools. I want access to safe and vibrant public spaces. I want a thriving small business community. I want housing for all at all levels of affordability. You know, I personally have built over 100 affordable units in the city of San Francisco over the past 15 years in many of the districts here that some of the supervisors here are on. in their districts. I'm very active in San Francisco building housing. And I just want to say thank you to this group for chartering this club. I think it gives us a voice.
Thank you for your comments.
Yeah, thank you.
Next up is Charles Bain, followed by Supriya Ray, Mako Stewart, and then Charles Jung. Go ahead, Charles Bain.
Oh, thank you. My name is Charles. My friends call me Jay. Just wanted to say thank you for voting to charter the West Side the club tonight. And also wanted to say that as a Democrat, I'm proud to also be a member of the Richmond District Democratic Club and have worked on these kinds of issues and supported conversations around these issues for many years. Just wanted to say thank you tonight and hope to see all of these groups working together on our goals. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Supriya Ray.
Hi, everyone. My name is Supriya Ray. I live in D4. And like one of the other folks who spoke tonight, I've been a Democrat since I was in high school. I have not always lived in San Francisco. I've lived in cities all over the country. And I am very appreciative of the DCCC voting tonight to charter the West Side Democratic Club. Everywhere I've gone, I've always worked for inclusion. I've spent, I've had many experiences in many of the places I've lived being othered all of my life because I don't fit neatly into any one particular category. And so for me, inclusion is paramount. And it is frankly, personally distressing and disheartening to see some folks trying to exclude others because it's not even entirely clear to me why, because they don't agree with every one of their views. None of us will ever agree with everyone's views, but hopefully we can all work together to make sure that we are getting as many people as possible to support the things that we should all care about, including public education, for instance, which I've spent 3 years of significant advocacy since the pandemic began. Safe street, good transit. Thank you.
Next up is Mako Stewart, followed by Charles Jung and Alex Wong. Go ahead, Mako.
Hey, everyone. My name is Mako Stewart. I'm here as a board member of the West Side Family Democratic Club. I appreciate your approving our charter earlier this evening, and I want to thank everyone who voted in support. Special thanks to Chair Mahogany, to member Janice Lee, and to member Chanel Williams, who voted to move forward last month. Also to you, Executive Director Garcia, you've been a great partner. I mean, you are a great partner to Democrats going through the chartering process. I just want to say we look forward to carrying on with our mission of voter registration and voter engagement as a fully chartered club. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Charles Jung. I don't see them, so we'll move on to Alex Wong. Not seeing them either. Let's go to Jan Chong, followed by Paulina Fayer. Go ahead, Jan.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jan. My family and my 10 and 12-year-old daughters live in Parkside in District 7. I do want to thank everyone here for voting to charter not everyone, but thank everybody for chartering the West Side Democratic Club today. Been a lifelong Democrat. I've lived in San Francisco for 16 years, moved here in my 20s and really struggled to afford to stay. I chose to ultimately make the city my home and raise my family here to have kids here, and I want to make the city livable for everybody. So I'm passionate about affordable housing. I hope to never drive a car again. I want public transit to be amazing in the city, and I want the city to be as livable and beautiful as it could be.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Paulina Fayer.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. I'm Paulina. Well, I'm disappointed that the chartering of the West Side Democratic Club was delayed, but I thank those who voted in support of the chartering. And, I myself am a member of a few Democratic clubs and orgs in the city, sit on the boards of a couple of these. And we don't always agree, which is okay. The Democratic Party is a big tent, and a value of in San Francisco is inclusiveness and making sure that everybody gets a say at the table. So that's what this is about. And I, again, once again, appreciate the support for the chartering. That's appropriate. It makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Alex Wong.
Hi, my name is Alex. I live in the Sunset raising 2 kids. Thank you so much for chartering the Westside Family Democratic Club. I just want to remind everyone that San Francisco has the lowest number of children per capita of any major city in America. And while the under 18 population in other Bay Areas is at a healthy 20%, San Francisco's is at an anemic 30%, and it has been declining every year for 30 years. That's why it's so important that Westside Family Clubs exist to organize families in a city that is struggling to retain them. I hope that eventually there's an East Side or a citywide Family Dem Club to give families a voice in having safer streets, more family housing, better transit. I just ask everyone to help advocate for families so that organizing these crucial group of people doesn't fall on just one club. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Chair, unless Carrie Barnes is promoted, that concludes public comment.
Great.
Oh wait, she just did. Go ahead,
Okay.
Carrie.
No problem.
Apologies. You're on mute, Carrie. There you go.
Oh, I wasn't expecting to see. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, just had to silence my dog. So I just wanted to thank you for chartering the Westside Family Democratic Club. Like Bobak and quite a few other people, I was surprised about the process by which we got to the final result. But and I think I would have been quite intimidated a couple of years ago when I rebooted the Noe Valley Democratic Club. If I was facing this same judge and jury, I don't know. But I did want to echo Chanel Williams' sentiments. I think she really hit the nail on the head, and I 100% agree that dissenting views are important. The discourse is part of the democratic process from which we ideally achieve better outcomes and results. So I can just share that when I rebooted the Noe Valley Democratic Club, many of you know, we're like very divided over here. It takes a lot to us to come to a final decision, a lot of negotiation, a lot of conversations. So on the outset, we decided as a group when we rebooted it, that we would hold the space of the club as an inclusive process, but it would also be a space where productive discussions would be had on substantive issues. And we knew that we weren't going to agree, but we would create room for that. And so like every meeting we read the Democratic Code of Conduct because people are passionate. But I do think that it's a hallmark of a true democracy, and San Francisco is a champion of these inclusive values. So I don't want to be in my soapbox. I just want to thank you for chartering the Westside Family Democratic Club, and I'm happy that you came to this decision.
Thank you for your comments. We'll go with Jordan Davis, followed by Michael Nolte, and then Michael Santos. Go ahead, Jordan.
Thank you very much. My name is Jordan. My pronouns are she, her, or they, them. You hear that loudly, West Siders. She, her, they, them. Please no misgendering. Anyway, I'm very disappointed in the decision to hold this chartering before the public comment. When I'm at the Board of Supervisors, even if an item is continued, there's still like public comment before that. And I'm just really disappointed. Secondly, I'd like to echo, like, if you're gonna form a family Democratic club, the first Family Democratic Club, why not make it citywide? Like, that's just gross. And I think this club still here has ulterior motives. And I think it's fucking disgusting. And I think Heather Knight was fucking disgusting with the way she trolled me. So I'm just fucking angry about that. I yield my time. Fuck you.
Thank you for your comments. Next up is Michael Nolte.
Hi, my name is Michael Nolte, and I'm the co-founder of Central City Democrats. And tonight I'm asking the DCC to adjourn its meeting in memory of another co-founder, Marvis Phillips, He was involved for 34 years in San Francisco dealing with voter education and other forms of voter information. He has been a resident of San Francisco for 39 years. He passed away on April the 4th in San Francisco, and he's been a citizen of San Francisco that has done so many different things, and even up to his a month before his death, he was still holding community meetings and doing things for the community. So I would like, if possible, the DCC to recognize him and adjourn in his memory. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your comments. Next is Michael Santos.
Good evening. I'm Chair Mahogany. Members, thanks for giving me an opportunity here to just express my appreciation for chartering the West Side Family Democratic Club tonight, and for expressing a certain level of dismay about the process so far. Not wanting to rehash too much. Just my personal views on these things are, so I've lived in San Francisco since 1996. I'm a member of a number of Democratic clubs myself. I'm on the board of 2, and I'm a member 8017 to the this weekend's convention. My recommendation would be, it's going to sound a little spicy, but if you don't like this sort of Democratic club on the West Side, form your own. If you don't like the name, give your club a different name. To me, the Democratic Party is about unity in diversity. That's how I see it. I'd like to have our clubs to work together more, not against one another. Calling each other Republicans, or calling someone we disagree with just a Republican, that's just silly. I went to the okay, thank you. Sorry.
Chair, there's no other hands raised. That concludes public comment.
Thank you so much, Director Garcia, and thank you to the members of public who called in to give public comment. We really appreciate it. And I just want to uplift the last Michael to speak. I believe what he said could be summed up by what our fearless leader, Speaker Emerita Pelosi says, which is don't agonize, organize. So I guess that is both a, that is the challenge, right? We have to organize, all of us, and we all should have the opportunity to do that. So thank you again, everyone who provided public comment. We will now move on to our next agenda item. We are, again, moving from public comment to skipping over the officer reports, and we are also, then we're moving to the resolution supporting equitable services and staff for African-American students. That's item number 7. This is a resolution that I have brought forward. Can we have a motion to hear this item?
No motion.
Second. Who was the first?
Avalos.
Avalos, and seconded by?
Lacroix.
Lacroix, thank you so much.
That wasn't me. No, it was Fiona Malproxy.
My apologies.
Okay, thank you. It's hard when we can't see who's speaking, but appreciate it. All right, colleagues, this resolution was actually brought to me, or a form of this resolution was brought to me by Cheryl Thornton, who was speaking earlier. We actually have seen a lot of disparities over the years in how the city serves African-American people, but especially our students. And we have seen some really poor outcomes, especially in our public school system. As someone who has grown up here in San Francisco and who went through the school system here in San Francisco, I can say that it is very challenging when there, number one, aren't very many people who look like you, but also when there isn't cultural competency that is involved in how you access education. And so this resolution is really based on a previous resolution that was brought forward by Member Moliga. That resolution was meant to really attack the disparities that were faced by the Pacific Islander community through the education system by creating a program that really aimed at raising those achievement levels, and also by creating a partnership between SFUSD and CCSF through a certificate program that that would help improve people's access to higher education. And so this resolution would effectively create a similar program within SFUSD and a collaboration between SFUSD and CCSF, but specifically to address the disparities being experienced by African American students here in San Francisco. It's fairly straightforward. It may even seem common sense, but I think it's really important that we put this into writing to put our intentions on it, and so that the school board can move forward with addressing some of these inequities. So with that, I will open it up to further comments from this body. Member Berry.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you for putting this resolution on the agenda. And a very special thank you to Cheryl Thornton, who did a lot of heavy lifting on this resolution, including meeting with the youth chapter of the NAACP, and the youth really worked hard on this resolution. I just want to comment that after slavery, there was no plan. After slave masters brought Black people to California to help with the gold rush and work for them, there was no plan when that time period ended. After the shipyard, which is the main hub of why Black people came to San Francisco, after that shipyard closed, there was no plan to what to do with people that were not white. However, blue collar workers who were Black were able to survive here in San Francisco before the tech industry came. I'm a product of that. My parents were blue collar workers here in San Francisco, and we were able to afford a 2-bedroom apartment. But those same jobs, my father being a cable car driver and my mother a secretary, we would have had to commute from probably from Vallejo or something by now. So I wanted to also add that now there is a gross amount of Black people that can only live here in San Francisco if we are on a program of some sort, including myself. There's a good documentary about the Fillmore, and one of my favorite lines in it is, back when Black San Francisco was thriving, you could walk around with $100 hanging out your pocket and no one would rob you because everyone had $100 in their pocket. And that's not so at this time. And a lot of it is a direct correlation to the education system. Yes, there is some Black people here who have made it, and unfortunately, it's based on how much we assimilate to the status quo. We need to have intentional programs that uplift our Black students. Decades of harm to the Black community in San Francisco with no repair of that harm has left Black San Franciscans homeless, you name it, the highest per capita homeless, incarcerated, the city departments hiring practices, the worst. It's really bad. So lastly, I want to say that folks that have moved into San Francisco after the 80s have no clue of what so many of Black San Franciscans who were pushed out stand for. No clue that there was not so many of us living on the streets and on drugs. The reference point of newcomers is basically the Tenderloin when they think of Black people, or Bayview Hunters Point. I love both of those neighborhoods, but there was more of a balance of our income levels before the 80s. We need to invest in these youth or not be surprised of the outcome. Thank you, and I hope everyone votes yes unanimously on this resolution.
Thank you, Member Berry. Proxy for Member Ibanez.
Hi. So I have a point of clarification. On the first resolve in point 3, Chair Mahogany, when you talk about to bolster efforts to recruit African-American teachers, does this mean you want to increase salaries? That's a direct question that I was asked to ask.
That's not specified.
Okay. So then, Proxy Ibanez highly recommends that you work with UESF on African-American teacher recruitment, just in general. And also, Member Ibanez wants to be added as a co-sponsor as well to this as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Proxy for Member Marr.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany, for putting forward this resolution. Member Marr and I do agree that if this resolution should be passed, we should definitely work to see how we can advocate for this, so then we can act on the intention. And it is not simply performative. It is something that we are committed to helping the community, especially the youth, to advocate for. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Seeing no other hands, is there a motion to approve this agenda item?
I'll move it for approval. This is Member Lee.
Second.
Seconded by Member Barry.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed, nay? Any abstentions?
I have noted here Member Chan abstains.
Okay, thank you very much. That will be noted and the resolution passes. Since we are continuing the resolution on Banco Brown pending the current California attorneys, Attorney General Rob Bonta's investigation of the matter, we will be bringing it back potentially at the following meeting. That being said, we are now at the portion where we're moving on to new business. Do any members of this body have any new business they'd like to bring forward?
Yes, I just have a quick reminder to everyone that on Sunday, June 4th, we are participating in Sunday Streets, which is in the Tenderloin. And then we are also participating in the Juneteenth Freedom Celebration later on in June. So if you'd like to participate with us as DCCC, please reach out to me. I'll drop my email in the chat if you do not have it. Or you can also call or text me. Thanks.
And Proxy for Member Ibanez, did you also have something you wanted to add, or was that from before?
I forgot to lower my hand. I am lowering it now. Thank you.
No problem. Member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I just wanted to give a reminder to all the members who may be going down to convention that while the legislation committee does not normally meet at convention and entertain new legislation, it will be convening for a special meeting just to review subcommittee report outs and our procedures. So if you're interested in how legislation is endorsed at the state level, this is the committee meeting for you. It'll be Saturday afternoon at 4. Also looking forward to seeing everybody down there at convention.
Thank you so much, Member Thomas. Vice Chair Braca.
I just wanted to say that I did notice that we were going to be voting on the earlier item before public comment. I would just like to say or request that we not do that in the future. I think that the only reason I had every intention on probably voting for that, I don't like not hearing from the public, even though we heard from them before. We took this up again, and I don't think that it's proper. I don't agree with closing down public comment, but I should say not having public comment before it, but I didn't want to make it a big issue because I didn't want to drag this out more than it had been already dragged out. But I'd also like to say I'm a little hurt by the fact that no one else mentioned the fact or disagreed with me on the fact that no other club had been accused of racism. And as the only Black male member of this body, I believe, I think I should be given the opportunity to speak out and talk about things. We don't talk about race in this country, newsflash. And every opportunity, especially among this body, we should have an opportunity to talk about race and how it affects people. Because if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu. So that's why I brought it up, not to, again, say that Westside Democratic Club is X, Y, or Z. I don't know. But as a curious and inquisitive person and a person who has been elected to this body to ask sometimes the tough questions, I think is more than appropriate. But I would just like to ask the chair that in the future that she give pause to not allowing the public to speak before we make a vote on this body. That is all.
Member Williams.
Yes, thank you, Chair Mahogany. And I just want to thank Member Baraka for that. I did speak with the chair about bringing a resolution to this body around anti-Blackness, because I definitely have experienced that in numerous spaces and in our city. So I definitely want to explore that with you, Member Baraka, because it's something that, I experienced from all sides of the aisle. So I think it's something that we need to definitely address.
Thank you. Proxy for Member Levitt.
Thank you. I'm here's a proxy for Member Levitt, but also am the immediate past president of the Harvey Milk Club, and just wanted to mention as new business that our club recently chartered our new trans caucus and also rechartered our AAPI caucus. So anyone who's watching or attending this meeting who might be interested in getting involved with those new caucuses with the Harvey Milk Club is encouraged to connect with us and reach out to membership@milkclub.org. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Edward. Really appreciate that. Thank you to the members who've brought forward new business. At this time, we will move on to our next item, which is the in memoriam. I do have both the in memoriam from Marvis J. Phillips, and in lieu of my resolution on the on Banco Brown, I would also like to do an in memoriam for Banco Brown. Are there any other in memoriams that people would like to bring forward? Vice Chair Braca.
Definitely Tina Turner. She was the first and only person that I ever camped out for in 1984. So God rest you, Tina, and those stilettos.
Thank you. Member Barry.
Yes, childhood friend Antoinette Dempsey. She's an amazing woman. Grew up here in San Francisco with me and moved to Georgia, but she was my Bernie Sanders partner in getting people riled up to support him, and she was just amazing. And also, I know you're going to mention Banco Brown. I don't know if that was your mention or if you're going to make more comments, but I would just like to say that I hope that he rests in peace and that his life isn't in vain. I don't have trust of the justice system. And that was a real hard video to watch. So rest in peace to Banco Brown.
Yeah, thank you, Member Barry. I did want to make some comments on Banco Brown. This has been a really hard period of time for everybody. I mean, I think when we went through the Black Lives Matter movement in the, in 2020, that was incredibly painful. And I think our biggest fear coming out of that moment, and we've had many discussions, many resolutions, many actions, many marches, was that at some point the attention would stop and things would go back to the way that they used to be. And, I feel like many of us have done everything in our power to prevent that from happening. And yet there is a part of me that feels like that's where we are. We're at that moment where we're exiting the pandemic, people's lives are going back to normal, and they are more willing to accept, or maybe just don't have time to engage in some of the harder conversations, as Vice Chair Braca mentioned, about race. Certainly we've discussed race ad nauseum here at the party. And, it's an important conversation to have, especially as Democrats. And I welcome those conversations. But it's not enough. I've spent the last month demonstrating in marches, at press conferences, speaking with leaders about what happened to Banko Brown. Because to me, this is our George Floyd. This is another instance where a Black man who allegedly stole $14 worth of food lost his life when he was no threat, when he had his hands up, when he was moving backwards out of the store, he was shot dead. And to me, that is completely horrific. Banko was a member of our community. He was actively engaged. He was born and raised here in San Francisco, and he was struggling to find housing. I mean, in so many ways, he's also a Black trans man. And again, in so many ways, he is the epitome of so many of the battles that have happened across this country, but also in the city over the last few years. And, what happened to him was a tragedy, but it was avoidable if we were able to get Banko housed, if we were able to get him the resources, if we had security guards who were properly trained in de-escalation, who were not armed or who did not have the right to kill, this death could have been prevented. And unfortunately, now after he has been killed, it is up to us to fight for justice for Banko, because as that slogan, which, unfortunately, I think over time has, been tarnished or lost its meaning, Banko's life mattered. His life mattered as a Black man, as a trans man, as a resident of San Francisco, and of this country. And his life should be treated that way. And so, again, I'm really glad, I'm sad, I should say, that the district attorney chose not to further investigate his case, take up his case and fight for Banko. I am glad that the California Attorney General will be investigating this case. And I hope that we are able to get some justice for what happened to Banko, because what happened to him was completely unacceptable. And everyone who sees this case, hears about this case, knows that. So I will leave it there. And again, we may be bringing back the resolution at the next meeting. We will now move on to the in memoriam for Marvis J. Phillips, and I was given a biography here to read. The Central City Democratic Club requests that Marvis J. Phillips, co-founder and vice president of the Central City Democrats, be honored at this May 24th meeting. For 34 years, from 1989 to 2023, Marvis participated with the San Francisco Department of Elections and worked with other community groups in various capacities as a poll worker, to register individuals to vote, voter education, held elections, forums, candidate forums, ballot measure forums, and community outreach. Mr. Phillips was born in August of 1955 in Denver and had 7 siblings. He graduated from Brighton High School, and after moving to San Francisco in 1973, attended City College of San Francisco, Southwest College, and Heald Institute of Technology. He's lived in San Francisco for over 50 years and has been engaged in numerous organizations. He actually ended up, along with many other street youth who were trying to survive in the streets of San Francisco at that time, he helped to found Larkin Street Youth Services, which is actually where I got one of my first full-time jobs, working as a homeless outreach youth worker. This happened in 1984. Since then, Mr. Phillips has continued to live in the Tenderloin in San Francisco, and he has been extremely active within his community. He helped, he participated in the Tenderloins People's Congress. As we said before, he helped found the Central City Democrats. And he is somebody who exemplifies, I think, what it means to be a community organizer and community leader and an upstanding citizen. So in his honor and in his memory, we will also adjourn this meeting. So thank you, everyone, for an eventful meeting, and we'll see you all at convention.